What's up, everybody? We are back once again. It is Off Topic, On Brand with Siege and Smitty, and we're back running with video again this week. We're trying all these new things to make this podcast look nice and pretty and go into full-on creator mode. And hey, Siege, I'm not wanting to brag or rub it in, but I got our show name right this week, buddy.
Yay! On the first try, even.
Yeah. I practiced all week. I was like, if this is going to be my week to get to lead this show off, I'm the leadoff runner. I've got to get on base, right?
Hey, at least one of us knows what we're talking about. So that's already off to the races.
For two guys that got paid to talk for so many years, and when you have a moment like that where you just kind of have the brain fart, it's like, maybe there is a reason I'm not in radio anymore.
And you spend most of the day talking, you on a radio, me on the phones, half the time dealing with people in the public. There gets to be a moment of brain fog, especially with how crazy things have been. January was at least 6 months long, I'm convinced. And then the month of February, we already know it's short, but for some reason, it's going in light speed. So who knows what the rest of 2026 is going to be like. But it makes the week go by a little bit faster knowing that there's one day out of the week that I know I'm going to get to do this with you. So I thank you for allowing us and getting us in a position to where we can actually do this finally.
Right, man. And it's the weekly hangout is becoming, I'm the exact same way now. It's like, Wednesday, we're going to get to do this. All right, we're going to get to hang out, get to see my dude. We're going to get to talk about some cool stuff that we've been talking about for a week since we did it the last time. And it's like, now it finally comes together and we get to put this all together for everybody that keeps tuning in and checking things out. And which I hope that everybody has had a chance to check the video, because Siege, my dude, you are making this look so good.
As professional as we can make these look.
Just know, man, I like the way you do it.
Ooh.
No diggity.
No diggity. There you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Again, for those of you that didn't see any of our posts about it, shortly after the audio podcast went out, we have adapted the life of video as well. We've been trying for a little bit, but we finally got it off and running last week, and we're going to continue to do it like that. Don't know if we're going to be able to get them released simultaneously, maybe a staggered approach. So for those of you that don't want to pay the subscription service for whatever streaming app you're going on, which I don't think you have to have a subscription to listen on Spotify. I don't think believe so. But regardless, now you've got the option on YouTube. I know several friends of mine, whenever I had my last podcast, well, I don't have Spotify. It's like, well, too damn bad. That's your own fault. We're going to keep going at it. And again, we're doing this for fun. We're not trying to get thousands and thousands of listeners. If we grow to that, that'd be pretty sweet. But I do appreciate, those of you that have tuned in already, those of you that have left us feedback, whether in person or over the phone or just online. And also, the other big one is getting to find out that there are new listeners from previous episodes. Now, we might not have the same retention from previous episodes, but already have gotten a word from my father-in-law, as a matter of fact, just before this recording, that he is working his way backwards. He started with a video and is going back to the previous episodes that we have on YouTube. We do have those, the first two, but we've just got some video effects, not actually our pretty faces.
Hey, and that says a lot if somebody is going to start with the most recent episode and see our faces and then be like, I'm going to keep checking this out. That's good to know that our faces haven't scared you off.
The faces for radio didn't just kill it for you. So that's something to be said.
Absolutely. And again, you can check us out. We got the Instagram presence. We got the Facebook presence. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Amazon, Good Pods, what's it called? Firecast. There's one that I just signed up for that I didn't really pay much attention to, but we're there too.
You're just
Radio.
You're just making stuff up now.
I'm kind of a content creator whore, apparently. If it's available for me to stick our podcast in, then that's where it's going to go. All right.
And And an easy one to do, and that's what I've been trying to link. An easy one to do that I've been trying to link up anytime we do a social media post is trying to do the link tree that we have. And it's just one-stop shop. You can just go ahead and click and have the opportunity to access all of those social media accounts or whichever one that you choose to go to.
Heck yeah, you've got C&J Studios all in one convenient location. One click, you're good, and then you can rock with us. And again, we appreciate you guys rocking with us so much. And speaking of rocking with us, how's the week been treating you since we last talked?
Man, and again, it's been bizarro land because since the last time we talked, obviously we had Friday was, let's see, what was Friday? I feel like it was something.
That was your hockey game, dude.
Well, yeah, that was our hockey game, but was there a holiday? Oh, yeah, it was Friday the 13th. What am I doing? See, I've lost all track of time. For those of you that celebrate the Jason Voorhees holiday, but then Valentine's Day was then on Saturday, and my girls and I decided that, you know what? We need to do something. We weren't going to go out to dinner, try to get reservations or anything like that. We wanted to do something other than fast food. And we looked online, and it just so happened my daughter had a field trip earlier this year, got to go to an Iowa Wild hockey game. That's the AHL, basically the AAA minor league affiliate to the NHL Minnesota Wild. And they had two, I think, multiple game homestand against the Springfield Thunderbirds. So Springfield, Massachusetts, and that, unbeknownst to us, is the AAA minor league affiliate for the St. Louis Blues. So It was a total slam dunk, but the reason why we chose to go on Friday instead of Saturday was because it was Women in Sports Night. So again, had a lot of female representation there at the game, and we actually got to meet two professional hockey players for the WNHL. I don't think it's called that, but whatever the professional hockey league is for women, they're from Minnesota, and like four of their teammates are on the Olympic squad that are just kicking ass and taking names right now over in Italy.
Oh, wow. That is so freaking cool.
So really didn't have a whole lot of time to talk with them because there was a big queue and they were basically slap the signature down, say a few pleasantries, and that was it. We said, next time you talk to your teammates over there, please tell them they're doing a great job. It's been amazing to watch. And we have been able to catch a few games. It's not just catching the highlights. So, and they're currently, as we record this, gearing up for a gold medal matchup, which is fantastic. Going to take on the Canadians again. So that's going to be a fun match. But overall, a wonderful experience. It was like $20 or under for our tickets. So we spent more on concessions there than we did on all three tickets combined. And for yours truly, you happen to see my Snapchats.
Yes, I did.
One of the promotions that they did tied into the game was $2 beer nights. So for the first period, it was $2 beers. Now, granted, they were the small cans, Busch Light or Coors Light. And since we were a Blues affiliate, I decided to go the Busch Light and had a sixer or so during the game. And so my wife drove home. I would have been okay. It was not the college era where probably a little too far gone, but decided to do the safe thing, and my wife drove home. But we had a great time, and then Saturday was Valentine's Day, and our town does something called a chocolate walk. So downtown businesses have different assorted chocolates to lure you in to their business to check things out, and then I think there's a punch card or something to sign up for a prize if you go to all the locations. So they were gone for a little bit in the afternoon and had a good time, and I stayed home. Not saying that it had anything to do with the beer, but definitely had a little bit to do with the beer. So great weekend. And again, it's so weird. As well as I do, working in radio, really no holidays. Maybe if you're lucky, Christmas and maybe New Year's, maybe. So working in my role, we had President's Day off. That's an observed holiday. So I was home on Monday and took a little bit of that advantage to finish up our podcast and get it online, the video side of it. So hopefully this go around will be a little bit quicker of a turnaround. So
there you go. But again, what you did with all that, the video part of it, man, that looks so good with the way that we got everything. You got it all stacked in there and got our logos and stuff. And it looks, dude is professional looking, and you did a freaking wonderful job. And again, I can't praise you enough for all the work you've done covering the video end. That is definitely not my forte yet. I'm going to try to get up to speed with it a little bit as we go on, now that I actually have a laptop that I can run things like that on. I'm not using this old toy of a laptop anymore, but I'll get there with you and everything.
Well, and the other side of it is too, I may be doing that heavy lifting on the video right now, but look at the eye candy I get to work with. You just make it a joy. So that was my weekend in a nutshell. What was yours like? Because I saw a few of your snaps, and needless to say, it was a little bit more than $2 beers at a hockey game.
Yeah. Saturday night got kind of wild. Which Friday night was a fun night for me. It started out supposed to hang out with Snap on Saturday, and she calls me Friday evening and Friday afternoon after work. She's like, "Hey, good news, bad news." And I'm like, "Oh, go ahead, hit me with it." And like, not going to be able to do anything tomorrow. Plans changed. And I was like, "Well, that's a bummer." She's like, "But I can see you tonight for a little bit." And I was like, "Heck yeah," because any amount of time I can get, we're both busy adults, various stages in life and everything. I was like, "Shoot, yeah, come on up." And which at one point, you had snapped a picture at me from the hockey game, and pretty much as soon as it goes off, her immediate reaction was, "That Siege?" I looked at it and I was like, "Actually, yes, it is." And she goes, "I'm going to invade your privacy for just a minute." And that's when she grabbed my camera or grabbed my phone and took the picture that she sent to you. Kind of like "Hey, we're hanging out, dude."
And at that point, I took the hint, but simultaneously, I was like, did she do a selfie or did he do an extreme close-up a la Wayne's World?
Right. So that was fun. And, we didn't get a whole lot of time together, but it was awesome. And it's kind of, it's still one of those things for me right now. And I'm going to be completely honest about this, kind of take a little bit of a moment, coming out of a divorce. It's still one of the scariest things for me. And I say that not in a way of I'm like, scared of like, "Oh my God," but it's scary in a sense of you spend 15 years with somebody and you think that's your person. And then it's over. And I'm not looking for something, and it comes to me in a sense. The universe is like, "Nah, dude, you need this." Like, here I am thinking I'm just going to take a break from any sort of relationship in the world like that. It's like, I'm just going to kind of focus on me. I'm going to just curl up for a little, not curl up, but I'm just going to kind of, take things in a little bit. I'm going to kind of shrink my world a little bit. And the universe goes, "Nah, we ain't doing that." And so it's like, okay, all right, let's see what happens. But at the same time, it's still terrifying in a sense of I've seen how easily replaced I can be. And it's like, I know that there's no reason for me to really be thinking this way. I've not been told that I'm tired of you, which I hope she's not tired of me. And can people get tired of me? Do you get tired of me?
I never get tired of you, Smitty. I need all of you that I can get.
But it's like just those weird thoughts in my brain, which is part of the reason why I'm going to therapy. And my therapist has told me multiple times, like, unless somebody tells you that there is a definite reason why you're thinking this thing, stop thinking these things. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's like telling an alcoholic not to drink, right? Because we see how well that works sometimes. And I'm not taking shots at people struggling with alcoholism either. We just know the reality of the situation. It's like, just, you don't do that. Okay. No.
It's when you recreate the scene from Tommy Boy and you get smacked in the face with a 2x4.
Pretty much, So it's like, here I am in this world, and I have found a person that I very deeply care for. And now in my mind, it's like, oh crap, here comes some anxiety out of nowhere for no reason, because I guess maybe there's some PTSD involved with what I went through.
Now, I will say this. There is so much to be said for where you have come from, and I totally get some of the mentality stuff that you're trying to get hurdled through, and therapy is helping with that. But it also is a big shout out, and you've been doing all the shout outs to her, so now it's my turn to Snap, showing you that you are worthy of all of that. Not to say that she is the only reason why you should feel that way, but the fact that she's helping you to realize that is a huge win in our book. So not just me, but the girls upstairs, 100%, she is all thumbs up for us.
Well, heck yeah, dude.
Also, she needs to incorporate more awful things into our Instagram group. She's been lacking severely. Work is no excuse.
Yeah, get it together, right? We have priorities here. And I appreciate you saying that. I think she is a wonderful person. I'm not going to lie, and I hope that I don't make her tired of me or anything. Definitely like some more time of adventure with her.
I keep telling you what concerts are going to be around Des Moines, and you don't have to get a hotel room. I'm just saying.
Right? Maybe that's going to be the summer plan. We'll get around to it.
I'm just saying.
But Friday was awesome, and so Saturday, my buddy at work, Friday he had asked me. He's like, his wife was going to be out of town, and his daughter was going to be doing things with friends. He walks up and stands beside my office, and goes, "Hey, buddy, you gonna be my Valentine this weekend?" I told him, I was like, at that point in time, I think I have some plans for Saturday for a while, and we'll see how things go. And then when our plans changed, I was like, okay, well, I can have time with her Friday. Then Saturday, I hollered at him, I was like, "Hey, man, gonna be pretty well open for this evening. So if you're still down with hanging out, I'm down with it." And he's like, "Yeah, just come on over." And the plan was we were gonna make either barbecue nachos or we were gonna make pizza. And he's got a pool table in his basement. We were going to just hang out down there, have a couple drinks, play some pool. Decided to watch the USA men's hockey game.
Nice.
Like, all right, cool. And so, you get a few beers into the night, get a few games of pool under your belt. And all of a sudden we started talking about, I think we got on the topic of bourbon. And then somehow I found recipes for, and I can't remember the exact timeline of this, but for peanut butter and jelly old fashions. Because he's a fan of old fashions. I'm a fan of old fashions. And one of the things he had found was an old fashioned mix. It's basically you just pour your mix in, and with your bourbon, you're good to go. And so the idea of peanut butter and jelly old fashions came to play, and we're just like, we kind of molded around a little bit. Like, is that a good idea? Is it not a good idea? All right. So a few more drinks into it. And all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Let's go try this. Why not? There's a store just around the corner. It got a great selection. And all right, so let's pop in there. Found the screwball. All right, we're off. Okay, get a couple other things. Next thing we know, we're walking around, and he sees a bottle of Mad Dog 20. Mad Dog 2020, man. And I don't know how many of you guys have had Mad Dog experiences. Siege, I can tell by your face you have had some Mad Dog experiences. I haven't had one of those since I was in college. And any of the experiences I ever had with that stuff left me with the most god-awful headache the next day because that stuff is so incredibly sweet.
It's like a tomahawk to the brain.
Against our better judgment, two guys in their 40s going, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's bring this bottle of Mad Dog home. Okay, why not? And then as we get up to the front, it's like, you know what else is up here? Fireball. So not only did we get the Mad Dog, we got some Fireball. And you were dude.
bridging the alcoholic generational gaps. I tell you, man.
All of a sudden that night went from just a couple dudes that are hanging out with one another, and because his wife's gone and I have no Valentine's Day plans at that time, to we're going to act like we're 20 years old and we are going to tie one on in a big way. And buddy, let me tell you, we did that. And the next day we were both kind of like, this was the worst idea ever. Oh my God. My head hurt so bad. I'm just laying there in bed. I think I laid in bed until well into the afternoon. Yeah. I would get up and move around and stuff like that, get something to drink, but it was finally well into the afternoon before I was finally like, you know what? Okay, just get up, get some food, drink some more water. Yeah, it was not a good decision.
And I bet between your bathroom breaks and getting something to drink, it was the old man shuffle, like the senior citizen. There was no walking. There was no heel toe there.
No, dude, I'm pretty sure that if I had touched something metallic scooting across my apartment, dude, I was just going to have lightning coming out my fingertips. And with as much alcohol that was in me, if I would have breathed at that moment, it probably could have blown something up.
Would have been like a gas leak, but it was all you, baby.
Oh, absolutely. But at the same time, I don't do that on a regular basis. That sort of thing is like, maybe I've got one or two of those a year in me.
The fact that you consumed Mad Dog and Fireball in the night when it was not a every other weekend or something, or once a month, the fact that it's Wednesday as we record this and you are coherent and able to be upright, I think you're not laying down for this recording. Is a miracle of modern science, let me tell you.
It's one of those things. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm kind of proud of myself at the same time because I'm alive. So here we are.
There you go. There you go. So that is our getting to know you, our check-in. Is there anything else that came out of the weekend? Because obviously your Sunday was rest and recuperate as best as possible.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I turned on Shameless for a while at that stream, and I turned on something else, and I was just, we're just gonna write this day off, and I'm gonna sleep and recover so I can go to work Monday.
Well, you were watching Shameless. Did you feel like Frank Gallagher in the moment?
I feel like that was one of the moments I absolutely related to him. Very much so. I didn't wind up laying down outside in the gutter or somebody picking me up and taking me to Mexico or anything like that. But definitely felt that, what's going on with my life this time? Type stuff. Hey, we live, we learn, we have fun, and we move on, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And speaking of moving on, great transition, sir. We are going to go talk about our pop culture items.
What you got for me this week, my man?
So, I have to give a huge shout out. I know throughout the years I've kind of mentioned it to you, not really forcing it upon you, but occasionally there will be a video. I'm like, dude, you got to watch this. There is a YouTuber. I want to give a shout out to his channel. It's Wrestling Bios, and he's got a ton of stuff on there. But the big hook, the reason why I fell in love with the channel, is he did a series called Reliving the War. So, again, pro wrestling fan since as long as I can remember. He captured and recorded videos doing a side-by-side, segment by segment, from the very first Monday Night War of WWF Monday Night Raw and WCW Nitro. And he did it week by week, pay-per-views on Sundays, every single week of the war, all the way up until the final Nitro. And then, of course, he did WrestleMania 17, which was the culmination of it all, where WCW was actually seen on WWF TV as its own entity now. But it took 5 years of this guy's time. I know that he was making money because of all the views he had on YouTube. But again, this labor of absolute love and insanity, the amount of effort and work that he put into it. And he lost his mom last year toward the very end of the year. And he had to make a post to apologize for missing a few weeks. It's like, all of us came out of the woodwork. It's like, dude, you have nothing to apologize about. Even if you didn't have this passing, you don't need to apologize. You're doing such stellar work. So again, if anybody out there has posted anything negative like that because your favorite content creator hasn't had a video up, A, check yourself, and B, absolutely, if you're a fan of pro wrestling, if you've liked pro wrestling at any point, or if you just remember, on Monday nights when I was in high school or when I was in middle school or whatever, definitely go check it out. It's worth reliving because there are so many moments that, oh my God, I remember that, but everything that surrounds it, it's like, oh my God, I didn't remember that was happening at the time. Or you remember things, but in the bigger context, it's like, oh, at the time, that made a lot more sense. And so, for example, WrestleMania 17, Rock and Stone Cold. Stone Cold turns heel at the end and aligns with McMahon. Because we weren't living it at the time, or right now, it's been so far since it happened. There were so many seeds that were dropped about him turning heel. Just the way he phrased his promos. It's like, oh my God, that totally went over my head when I was in high school. Holy crap. So again, and of course, at the time, it had less to do with not being observant and more of a WCW is going to go out of business. ECW filed bankruptcy. What the hell's going on? And then, of course, you miss out on some of the other contextual stuff. So, again, not speaking on Shakespeare or anything, but again, as a pro wrestling fan, the channel's fantastic. Wrestling Bios and Reliving the War is the name of the series. And the finale was this past Sunday. The last few episodes have been extra long, so close to an hour. And again, there are so many great jokes that he's got weaved throughout. One of my favorites is the Mean Street Posse, who were hanging out with Shane McMahon. When they went on television, anytime they would be on TV, he would play a little pre-made video he did, and he did it to the Lonely Island, I Just Had Sex. So it's their Titantron with I Just Had Sex with the song is, it makes me laugh until I'm about crying every single time. Then he's got a whole through line about Steve Blackman is a dojo master and he's here to defend the earth against robot monsters. It just, oh my God, there are just so many great one-line jokes and through jokes that go the whole way through. And I can't recommend it enough, especially if you are one of the old school wrestling fans. And for that matter, if you go back to one of the first episodes and then watch the latest or the very end of the series, just the amount that he's been able to put into it and some of the intros and outros he's done for it, it's insane the amount of work he put into it. And it's super enjoyable. Again, as somebody that is that era wrestling fan, and that was the end all be all, and really, really cool and great to see it culminate in the way that it did. So, and then, not to step on you, I'm sure you've got your pop culture moment, but I promised last week I would have a story about my dad. Because you told me this story about Grandpa and your dad. Here is the story. When I was in high school, I think I was a sophomore. So year 2000, my dad said there was a wrestling show that was going to be at a high school that was about 45 minutes north of us. So yeah, let's go. Great. Cool. Get to spend time with my dad, get to see live pro wrestling's great. Cool. This was the definition of a mud show. The only thing that would have made it more a mud show is if it would have been outside under a tent. Just some of the guys in there were the fat guys that you'd see with their bib overalls that barely fit. There was one guy that wrestled a hardcore match that was like maybe 110 pounds soaking wet. Like it made Spike Dudley look like a super heavyweight. It was outlaw mud show to a T. But the reason I bring it up, I had a blast with my dad. You get to yay at the good guys, boo at the bad guys, make up your own through line in your own head, just kind of back and forth with each other. We like doing the running commentary like Mystery Science Theater 3000. There was, instead of between the matches or like during an intermission, they had a permanent merch table stand set up kind of in the corner of the gym. One of the women that was working the merch booth was wearing a full body spandex suit. The best way I could describe this woman, and it's etched in my mind, it is King Kong Bundy with a long black wig. My father, to this day, this has been 26 years this year. My father has never let me forget that woman. To wit, I throw out to him, there's no way I'll ever forget that woman. I might get the worst case of dementia the world's ever seen, and that image will be etched somewhere right in here. So again, nobody shit their pants during that moment. Some of the matches were figurative shitting their pants. This woman, again, King Kong Bundy, please Google image this if you're not familiar, with a long black wig.
Oh my goodness. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And again, I did try to do my research. I did try to go back and figure out what that Fed was called. Can't find it. Have no idea what the initials were, let alone the full company name. Can't even remember a single wrestler's name on it. But I remember Mrs. Bundy.
I mean, at least you walked away with a memory, and I think that any wrestling promotion out there can hope for that one thing, right?
There you go. There you go. It was a moment for sure. For sure, it was a moment.
Well, moments like that, even though that may not be what you wanted to remember, having that with your dad, though, beyond anything else that you can still talk about all these years later, absolutely worth every single bit of it. I know exactly what you're talking about in that moment. So in that regard.
So that is my pop culture contribution, kind of tag teaming that together, sticking with the wrestling theme. What do you got for pop culture, Smitty?
Well, Siege, I got to ask you one question. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Siege, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Good, because you're going.
Oh, that's where we're going. I thought you were sticking with wrestling. I'm like, what is DX doing that I was not familiar with? Yes, one of our favorites, and we've teased it from the very first episode. We will definitely be talking the Jared Keeso-verse ad nauseum for many, many episodes to come. But I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, sir.
Yes, sir, because SHORESY Season 5 is coming to America. And it is coming this weekend. On the 21st, we are getting SHORESY Season 5. Now, I do have to say, I've intentionally not watched the last episode of Season 4 yet. My plan is to, this weekend, get caught up on Season 4 so I can go directly into Season 5. And I think, if I read it right, they are dropping all the episodes on the 21st.
Yes.
So we can do the hardcore binge all weekend long. We can get caught up, and then we can wait a whole year because they said 2027 is when Season 6 will be coming out for SHORESY, which I have to assume that if things still go to plan, he's getting ready to work on I Killed the Bear, that has one of the wildest castings to it. It's got George St. Pierre is in it. Chad Kroeger from Nickelback is in it. It's got Dylan Playfair is in it. It's got Jonathan Torrance is going to be in it. And of course, Jared Keeso. So I am very much excited for that because as we've spoken before, we're to the point where I don't think Keeso can really do anything wrong. And I hope that this isn't setting up Kill the Bear too high of an expectation. But at the same time, I think with Keeso, a high expectation is still an achievable goal and expectation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the biggest thing is coming out of the two shows that we associate him with the most, Letterkenny and SHORESY. We've already had the discussion of it's almost unfair how good SHORESY has turned out. We hoped that it was going to be at least somewhat close to Letterkenny. I almost think season by season, it could be stronger than Letterkenny.
That's where I am at this point as well. And I thought that was not going to be possible because I know that we had talked about having that hesitation and thinking about SHORESY, who was basically a side character that was just throwing out funny one-liners. He was the hockey chirper guy. And then they evolved him a bit right before they did the spinoff. I think that was season 10 or something like that in Letterkenny, 9, 10, 11, somewhere along it through there. Right before they fully went into SHORESY. They gave him a bit more life in that playoff championship that they had him in. And then it's like, okay, so maybe there is some depth with SHORESY. But the way that they made that so episodic and continuous with the story compared to Letterkenny, which was basically a day by day sort of thing where there's things that tied it together, obviously, situations going on, but it could just be a brand new day every day like they did in Letterkenny. That worked perfect. SHORESY tells a story and somehow has managed to be equal parts hilarious. It's managed to be very heartfelt. And it is managed to, I mean, there's been moments where something hits me and I'm just like, dang, man, that's deeper than it really needs to be. And you wouldn't expect that from a guy who you basically heard it for the very first time in Letterkenny, like you say, hey, tit fucker. that's how How is this possible?
Give your balls a tug. That's what we know him for. And it turns into a real sweetheart of a guy. He's not just the Riley and Jonesy mom banger. And yeah, I can't get over how good the show has become. And not only that, but again, I hang my hat on it as one of the best full series, one of the best seasons of any series ever. Season 3, my God, dude, I can't say enough good things. And season 4 was excellent. So I know you haven't seen the last episode, no spoilers, but again, as good as season 4 is, season 3 for me was just such a triumph. And again, I don't want to tell people, oh, please just go watch season 3, because you'll miss a lot of the character growth and development. Season 1, unbelievable world building. I couldn't get over how much you'd get and again, these are all 6-pack seasons. So you've only got 6 episodes to develop these characters. And on the first season, all of them were new, except for SHORESY, and even then, we didn't know very much about him. He plays hockey and he cusses a lot. But
who knew he was going to be such a heartfelt individual like he is?
Well, and the other one, the one that I've talked to you about, all of the core guys on the team are so vital to the show. And the fact that they're all ex-hockey guys and they can talk the lingo, they're not faking the skating, in the charity games they've done against ex-NHL guys or veterans or whatever the case may be, they've had some real scraps. Like, they've really got down and dirty. So they're living it. They're not just doing it for the camera. And like the gyms are fantastic. And
the gyms are such beauties.
Hitchcock, I think, is my favorite character. I mean, you say it fast, it sounds like a 10-inch cock. It's funny. And he's so great. I can't say enough good things. And of course, then the women that work in the office too, Nat and the other girls are fantastic additions too. They're not just eye candy. And that's something else that you can say about the Kisoverse, that if you're concerned with it being, it's a dude show and there's too much there, it's probably all going to be pretty sexist. They give and get. All the women that they have in those shows can give as good as they get, and it's fantastic to see that. Not to say that it's going to be I'm going to show my daughter next week or anything, because that's not the case. That's not the case at all. But still, I think that Jared and the rest of the writing team are doing such a good job. And I have to give another shout out. Spiraling off of the SHORESY verse, the Kiso verse, you got to give a shout out to Glenn. The actor that played Glenn in Letterkenny, he's having a huge triumph with his hockey show right now. Right. Yeah, that's the one on HBO Max, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm blanking out on it as well, but it is actually doing what Taylor Swift did for the NFL. There are so many women and girls that because of that show, that series, they're actually attending hockey games. And I don't know if our Iowa Wild game was the same experience, but I do know for a fact that there were a ton of girls around our daughter's age, and there were high school kids, there were college kids, there was a huge ISU section that was there, and they showed them on the camera, and they were going wild. But again, it was a great experience, and hey, if it's going to grow the sport to a new audience, praise be. And especially the fact that Glenn, the character Glenn, has been behind some of that success. Hey, champion to you.
Heck yeah, man. And it kind of makes me wonder, because Jacob Tierney, who is Glenn, and Kiso, they work together, Letterkenny, SHORESY, and I believe he is also going to be attached to I Kill the Bear. So part of me kind of wonders now, if since he's done this and has had the success on the platform on HBO Max the way that he has, if there's a potential that some of the Kisoverse bleeds over to a bigger streaming service and gets a little bit more, exposure. I'm not going to complain with that one single bit, because I'm one of the people that from the moment that I first started watching Letterkenny, I was like, all right, this dude is onto something. I love this. Everything he's done so far, I'm a fan of. And if those two keep working together and turning out gold the way they are, man, imagine being able to be at Kiso's table and eating with him right now in a professional sense, and just being able to enjoy what you're doing in this very moment, because, onward and upward, dude, sky's the limit. I hope you keep doing it. Keep eating.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully all the ones that were around the table with him at all the different other series that he's been on so far still get incorporated in some way, shape, or form. I know there's not roles for every single character to be on every single show, but hopefully that love continues to be reciprocated and get a few guest cameos or full-time roles on different series. So, but either way, great shout out. As a matter of fact, I knew it was coming. I just didn't remember it was this weekend. So now I'm super excited.
Right. One more thing to look forward to. And speaking of things to look forward to, and speaking of eating, how about we go on to our main event? My dude, are you ready for this?
I am ready. So we did a YouTube shout out earlier. Going to do another YouTube shout out. Chef Josh from Mythical Kitchen. He has a fantastic series. It's where you do your final meal. He will sit down with a celebrity. He will interview them while they're going over their course. So think kind of hot ones, but they're not being tortured. You're getting your pick for your death row meal. And they go through several courses and several drinks and several desserts and whatever the guest wants. And if it's from an establishment that doesn't exist anymore, he actually has his chefs in his studio recreate it to the best of their knowledge or the research that they're able to do. And again, it's absolutely fantastic. And honestly, there have been so many episodes that I've seen clips of, and it's like, oh, I need to go back and watch the full episode. And some of them I have, some of them I've just kind of skipped through, because really with some of the clips, you get all of the gist of the episode. But in some cases, it's like, dude, I don't even want to see the interview. I just want to see what food you picked for some of them. So we got to thinking, we talk enough food thanks to Ryan Mills, hashtag Fat Life. We talk enough Fat Life. We do the Fat Life alerts when there's a new food item or something. Whenever we go on trips, what are you and I sharing back and forth? Not the beautiful scenery, not the hotel room, not our Airbnb. Hell no, we're sharing food porn.
That is absolutely right. That's all we care. It's not all we care about, but that is like 90% of what we care about.
So we thought that it would be a great opportunity for us to give a shout out to a great channel. If you've not seen Mythical Kitchen, absolutely go check it out. Chef Josh, fantastic interviewer, really interesting life story. And a lot of those episodes are just phenomenal. They'll have you sucked in. So definitely need to give it your full attention, not just one you throw on in the background and forget about it. Definitely want to pay attention to what they're saying, because some of them really super interesting. But for example, the newest one that I saw a clip of just before we went on and started recording, the musician Noah Khan, he is on it, and he requested to have as true to life as you could possibly make a Krabby Patty.
Oh,
so he thought that it was just going to be a hamburger that was made to look like a Krabby Patty, and they show them putting a smiley face on the pickle slices like they do on SpongeBob. Well, Chef Josh has admittedly said he's never watched any SpongeBob. So he went and did some research, and apparently, I didn't realize this, in the deep recesses of Reddit, there is some lore when it comes to the Krabby Patty. You don't see very many crabs. You see Larry Lobster, you see Mr. Krabs, but you don't see many crabs at Bikini Bottom. Mr. Krabs is grinding up crab meat to make Krabby Patties. That's the lore. Well, anyway, so Chef Josh and his chefs did a combo of shrimp and crab meat and made burger patties, and then proceeded to do the rest of the ketchup, pickles, onion, etc. And it went from being kind of this cutesy thing to, wait, this is real crab? But now it went from kind of whimsical to sad.
Right.
So
It
it made me laugh at how quickly that flipped the script and turned. So, but we're not going to get that weird with it. But we are going to make it very interesting for you what our last meals are going to be. I don't know how you split yours up, Smitty. For me, I split mine up in the meals of the day: breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then, of course, we've got a dessert option. So if you want to lead it off, sir, I will let you take the ball and run with it for this first course.
All right. So basically what we decided we're going to do is we're doing the 3 courses and the dessert. We can also include a drink with each course. And so I kind of went about it the same way. I was like, well, I've got to have breakfast because breakfast is important. I've got to have a great lunch in there. And I got to have just one big fat dinner type meal that I'm going to be resting happy with. So I'm leading off with the breakfast. And if many of you know me, breakfast is one of my absolute favorite meals, just full stop. I am a sucker for any type of breakfast food. If anybody out there listens to this and is like, you know what, I think I would like to make Smitty a meal, you can make me breakfast and I will love you so very much. And for my breakfast meal, I want to do the full American breakfast. Now you hear the full English breakfast, the fry ups and stuff with the eggs and the beans and the blood pudding and stuff like that. I got to thinking, as a fat American myself, what would a full American breakfast be like? And I just started jotting my notes down. Here's what I came up with. Now, I will preface this by saying I don't eat this way all the time. Rarely, if ever, am I going this full fat. But I'm thinking, if this is my last meal and I'm not going to get to eat anything else ever again, I'm going as fat as I can freaking go, and I'm just going to start it out with this. So my breakfast, we've got to have an order of biscuits and gravy. And I'm talking about the big, thick cat head biscuits that are nice and fluffy, and you've got chunks of sausage in this gravy, and I want just a good gravy consistency. Not super thick, not super thin and runny. Give me something that's right there in the middle that's just going to ladle right over everything. On top of that, I've got to have some eggs, and we're doing either a good sunny side up egg or an over easy. As long as I've got some yolk in there that's going to run around a little bit, give me some eggs like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. I'm an egg person since the day I was born. Well, not since the day I was born, but whenever I could start eating hard foods, buddy, I was all in on some eggs and have been that way my entire life. We're going to keep going, though. This is not over. This is a culinary journey into the mind of Smitty. So next up, we're going to have some thick and fluffy pancakes. Give me a stack of 3 or 4 of them. Put butter between each layer. Give me some of that real maple syrup and just drizzle that stuff all over the pancakes. Now, I do have to say, I want to keep the pancakes on the side because maple syrup and gravy, they're not the best of friends. That's kind of like a side dessert to an extent of this breakfast portion I'm doing. But we can incorporate some other things back into this plate. We're going to have some hash browns. We got to have some hash browns to go along with the biscuits and gravy that I have in this platter right here. And they can either be like the planks you get from fast food restaurants. They can be the homemade hash browns, or if you want to do a home fry. I'm not going to complain about that. Just put them in the plate and cover them with gravy, because those things with gravy on them, let me tell you, that is one of the most beautiful things you can put in your mouth. And then over on the side, I would like a little bowl of some grits with some butter and some either strawberry or grape jelly in it. Give me a little bit of extra sausage on the side. Give me some links. Start me out with a good pour over cup of just some dark coffee. Not quite motor oil thick, but we're getting close to it. And then, just because it's my last meal, or part of my last meal, dude, give me a tall glass of chalky milk. And that's how I'm going to wrap up my first serving of this ultimate last meal.
There you go, my friend. That is an excellent shout. And you and I are very, very similar when it comes to our breakfast, in the words of Derry from Letterkenny. So I'm going to go biscuits and gravy, but I am very persnickety when it comes to my gravy. So homemade biscuits and gravy. My wife has got her grandmother's gravy recipe and her biscuit recipe. And I even asked her the other day, hey, what do you think is the meal that I go the most ballistic over? Like if you say, do you want me to make this? That it's an immediate yes before you even get the question out of your mouth. And she thought about it. She's like, I honestly don't know. And then she's like, well, you like my biscuits and gravy. And before she even got gravy out of her mouth, like, yes, that's it. That's the one. So very, very generous portion of her biscuits and gravy. I'm going to go out on a limb here. This would be where Chef Josh's Kitchen have to go out of their way and prepare and let me sample before I say yes or no. This is it. There was a restaurant in Troy, Missouri, as I was growing up, and it's unfortunately gone. It had a fire many, many, many years ago, so it no longer exists. But Chum's, and at Chum's, a lot of people had a lot of favorite things. To me, it is the best restaurant-prepared bacon that you've ever had in your life. It was the perfect, right on the line between it is crunchy, but it is not burnt, and it's not flimsy either. So it was right there, like almost melt in your mouth bacon. And that would be the order that I would have to get, but it has to be the Chum's bacon. Farm fresh eggs. I've kind of gotten spoiled on that with our chickens. Those farm fresh eggs over medium. So I like it to have a little run, but I don't want it to be lava all over my plate. At least 2 to 3 of those. Then we are going to go Texas toast with butter and peanut butter. The idea of putting those both together makes my wife's stomach turn. For some reason, she thinks that's the most disgusting thing in the world. But hear me out. That would be the way to do it. And then last but not least, to go along with all of that, maybe throw a juice on the side. Didn't think that far. But I'm like you, the darkest roast coffee you can find. The one that we fell in love with at a restaurant in Minneapolis called Eggy. Turns out it's not even their house blend. It was just the preferred brand that they had. It's Peace Tree Coffee, and it's their French roast. Oh, dude. Pour over or French roast like that. Oh, just so good. French press, sorry, not roast. But yeah, that would be my final breakfast meal. So that would be our first course done. Where do you go for course 2?
All right. First, before I get into my second course, I am with you on the butter and the peanut butter. That's something my dad used to do as well. So yeah, I totally get that one. So I'm going to move on to course number 2. And this one, as I got to thinking about it, I was thinking about what a good lunch would be for me. And it got me to thinking of all of our family gatherings over the years. We had a lot of Sunday lunches together. Sundays were a lot of the times we would get together to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, things of that nature. It was always a Sunday after church, usually around 1 o'clock or something like that. And I got to thinking, it's like, I can't pick just one thing out of all this food. So I'm just going to pick a little smattering of all the things that I love. Now I'm going to start out first. The main focus of this is going to be my grandma's chicken and dumplings. Oh. Now my grandma, the one that she had a birthday the other day, turned 91 years old, and she made a pot of those chicken and dumplings and brought, because she was like, I haven't had any in a while. And I know that I used to make these for you pretty well any time that you would come back home. Once I moved away from home, she was like, yeah, if I find out you were coming home, I'm just going to make you some chicken and dumplings. And that was one of the coolest things to come home to, especially being away at college. You come home for a weekend or for a holiday or something, and here's this big old pot of chicken and dumplings. And she's one of those old school dash and pinchers that even if you watched her make these, you probably would have no way of really recreating them the same way she makes them, because of the magic in this woman's fingertips. Yeah. She just knew exactly what she needed to be throwing in there, and those dumplings came out perfect every time. The chicken, the consistency in there, it was a little thick. It was just soupy enough that everything kind of got soaked in there, but it was also thick enough too that you grab in there, get a spoonful, and that is, to this day, and I believe quite possibly ever, the measuring stick of chicken and dumplings, in my opinion. They are the most amazing chicken and dumplings. So if I can throw a time out there, you needed that on Sunday to rest and recoup after your long Saturday and your mad dog. Yeah. That would have cured all that ailed you, but unfortunately it was not on hand. Yeah, that's like the redneck version of matzo ball soup, apparently. That's it. Yeah, I kind of wish I'd have had that, but it is what it is. You suffer through, but that is absolutely got to be the number one thing on my second course. Now, to go along with that, I've got to include my mom's meatloaf. She makes one of the most amazing meatloaves, and she always says, I don't know what it is that you think is so great about it, because there's nothing special, but I'm a meatloaf fan to begin with. And she gets it to where it's not too dry, but it's not too crumbly, and it has seasoning in it. She gets the onion mixture just right in there with the ground beef. She gets the topping just right. It's like she'll use ketchup, but I think she puts a little bit of extra additives into it. And to me, it still turns out to be one of the most perfect, wonderful meatloaves that also, I'm not going to be able to do this in this situation, but anytime I do get this meatloaf, it is great for the next day to I'll take it and slice it and I'll fry it into a grilled cheese meatloaf sandwich sort of thing. Perfect. So I've got to have that, and her corn casserole, which is just an all-time classic recipe. You got the corn, the breading. It's like cornbread and corn combined. It's so good. So I've got to have that in there. Next up, I'm going to throw in my smoked green bean casserole, which, that was something that I just recently tried, and it went over extremely well. And it's not so much me patting myself on the back as so much as it fits in well in the context of the food that's going on here. We're going to throw in kind of this may not fit in the overall fatness of what I'm doing, but a nice big bowl of salad. And this is something that we would have with all these meals anyways. Mom would always throw in something like, a good diced, chopped green lettuce salad with red onions in it and red and green bell peppers. And she'd throw in some green sweet peas, and there's diced tomatoes. There's some cheddar cheese in there. We'd have some honey mustard dressing. We'd have all these things, some croutons and toppers and things like that in it. Fit perfect with everything that's going on. And I'm thinking, if I'm recreating this weekend, the Sunday family meal, I got to have it. And then one thing that I know Chef Josh, for me, wouldn't be able to do, but that would be my dad's fried crappie. Ooh. And I have to have this in here. And that is one of the things that is indicative of our gatherings, almost as much as the chicken and dumplings, but pretty well anytime, especially when I was in my late teens into my 20s. We fished a lot. We always had fish in the freezer. We always went crappie fishing. And Dad had the perfect mixture of the flour and the cornmeal together, the spices, and he would go so simple with just salt and pepper. And it was not overdone. It was not overspiced. And he had this old fryer that he would set up. He knew exactly where to turn that knob, because I'm pretty sure all of the numbers were worn off of it, but he knew exactly where that knob needed to be the perfect temperature to fry. They wouldn't get overdone. They wouldn't get too crispy. You'd pull them out. They'd shake a little bit. But that, man, when I think fried fish, that is it for me. So this course number 2, it's my Sunday family meal, and I would absolutely love to have all that stuff one more time.
And beverage of choice for this wonderful meal?
Oh, this is just the biggest jug of sweet tea you can get, with sweet tea that's so sweet that you're almost chewing it. That's the only thing that can go with this.
I was going to say, with a meal like that, if it's anything other than sweet tea, I don't know if I know you or not.
That stuff's so thick that it's pouring out like honey, dude.
Well, again, similar fashion, the drink is going to be for my lunchy bunchies. I'm going to get sweet tea, a specific sweet tea, since, again, I'm going to make Chef Josh and his team work for it. I'm going to get my sweet tea from Gus's Fried Chicken in Memphis. Some of the best sweet tea you will ever have in your life. It's not too overly sweet. Again, it is, if you're not a sweet tea drinker, it is more than sweet enough. But for somebody that can drink the type of sweet tea that you're referring to, where it's you got grit at the bottom of your cup when you're done drinking it, they are not quite to that level, but man, it just hits so perfect, especially on a hot, sweltery, sweaty, humid summer day in Memphis. Just there's nothing better. On top of that, we are going to go to Chicago, so way north, to Kuma's Corner, one of my favorite establishments ever. It is a metal bar and restaurant, and they have burgers named after bands. The Mastodon burger is my all-time favorite. It's got the fried onions, the drizzly fries on it, and just it cannot be compared. It's on the pretzel bun. Everything about it is perfect. For the side, we're going to do Vader Tots from Flying Elbow, which I have shared with you from
Yes, you have.
Fort Dodge, Iowa. It is a pro wrestling themed restaurant, and they have named after wrestlers and moves, all the different foods they have. These Vader Tots, so think tater tots, but they're the size of hush puppies. They're round, and I think you only get 4 in an order, maybe 3. The first time we ordered them, it's like, oh, let's get those. It's Vader. Ha ha ha. My God, dude, just they're huge. And then you wouldn't figure that, oh, well, it's probably just going to be a regular tater tot. No. I don't know what the seasoning is they put in it, but it is seriously, it's one of those side dishes that you can almost order like 2 or 3 helpings of that, and then you're full for the rest of the day. So it will help fill you up, and it's just got a flavor that's so unique to that particular dish. So definitely would have that on the side. And then they don't have anything but like regular ketchup there. So we're going to go to more of a chain, but Whataburger got us hooked on their spicy ketchup. My God, the combo of all those things with a sweet tea from Gus's. Oh my God. So we're going to have to wait a while until course 3 after I get done chowing on that. Might need some more coffee from course 1 to help me digest all of that. But yeah, that's where I'm going with it. And if for whatever reason Gus's is closed, they can't get me the sweet tea, that would be a shame. I would be willing to substitute with a very, very tall glass of cherry Coke.
Yeah, that'd be a fair trade.
But that said, if I can get the Gus's sweet tea, that's where it's at.
Dude, that is a phenomenal second course. And anytime you've sent me pictures of the Flying Elbow, it's just like, okay, I'm coming up. You're taking me there. I'm coming up. You've got me. Okay.
We will do it. And that was my last speeding ticket, was in Fort Dodge with Marshalltown, with one of their speed cameras. So even getting the ticket was worth it because we got to eat there at Flying Elbow. So
heck yeah.
we'll try to drive within the speed limit to get there, but you can't help it. You're just craving it.
I hear you, man. It's one of those got to rush to get there. So yeah, dude, you're on a roll with your food. And I would swap with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
My last course, I'm going to dive into something that is equal parts my favorite food and one of my hobbies. And I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going to be going with this one. And that is one that we also share.
Yes.
Barbecue. My God, dude. It's one of those things that as I think about my favorite foods, and I've thought about this probably more than a person needs to. That's probably a good indicator of why I am a happily plump little fella right now. But I've thought about my favorite foods.
I'm not fat. I'm not fat. I'm festively plump.
I've had these conversations not only with you but other people. Yeah. Just talking about food, because food is such a conversational thing. Mm-hmm. And I've over the years I've come to this realization that I can go to barbecue anytime. I can eat barbecue anytime, because not only are there a lot of varieties as far as, you've got your pork, your beef, your chicken, your turkeys, you've got sausages, and there's so much variety, but it just tastes good. And then you can talk about different rubs and different sauces and different sides. Like you could go to the same restaurant three or 4 times a week and order something different, and it is all going to be, as long as they can do the barbecue well, it is going to be so good. So I'm doing what I am calling my barbecue charcuterie board, if you will, because brother, we are getting so very fat with this last one. Now I'm going to start out with my favorite part of barbecue, and that is the brisket. To me, that is the food of the gods right there. You get a good piece of brisket, and that thing is just jiggling. It's got juices dripping down. You got the fat and everything. You get some burn ends off of it as well. That is just such a good bite. So I'm starting with the brisket. We're going to throw in some pulled pork. Got to have some pulled pork, because that's just barbecue, right? So you got to throw the pulled pork in there. Next up, I want a good thick cut smoked pork steak. Now, I know that some people some people haven't experienced a pork steak. It's very much a Midwest St. Louis area sort of thing. I know that my family out in Colorado, anytime they come in, that's something they want to get because it's not common out there. I've had, people talk to in the South. It's like, what the heck are you talking about? A pork steak? No, pork steak, to this day, will still say that can rival a ribeye, in my opinion. If that is done right, that is one of the best pieces of meat that you can have in steak form. So give me that good, 2-inch thick smoked pork steak is going on my plate. Next up, we're going to have my favorite cut of ribs, which is St. Louis style, which is going to have a little bit more meat than your spare ribs. Not quite as much as what you're going to get off baby backs, but to me, it is the perfect rib, especially when you get that thing and the bone is just coming right out of it. Don't give me your competition style stuff. I want that stuff that is just, right off the bone. It is good. It's juicy. It's tender. That is how I want my rib. Along with that, we're going to have smoked sausages. I love a good smoked sausage. Don't say anything.
Well, my question was, it was not going to be inappropriate. It was going to be, do you like the sausage with casing or without casing?
Ideally, in this instance, I would prefer with the casing. But, outside of that, without the casing, it works for me as more of a breakfast thing, I think, than anything else. But in this instance, I definitely do want the casing on, the bratwurst style type of sausage, that type of link. That's what I'm going for with this. So absolutely got to throw a link or two on there. We're going to have also a quarter chicken. Give me especially if you got the leg and thigh section of it, that is my sweet spot when it comes to smoked chicken. Put that on my plate. That's going to wrap things up with the meat part of it, but there's more. But wait. that board is massive, my friend. Yes. Come closer.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
All right. Now back up.
What do we got?
Still
okay.
All right. So we're going to have sauces on the side, and we're going to have a vinegar-based sauce that you kind of get out of Memphis. We're going to have an Alabama-based mayo sauce.
Ooh.
We're going to have a thick Kansas City style of molasses sauce that we're going to throw in there, and a Carolina style mustard sauce.
Ooh.
So we've got to have this variety to go with our fat cootery board to cover every single thing that we need covered. And then from that, we're also going to have side dishes. You can't forget about the side dishes.
Wow.
So I'm going to have your potato salad, a coleslaw, some baked beans. I'm going to have some hush puppies and some Texas toast, and then throw in some raw onion, dill pickles, and maybe a little side of mac and cheese as well, just because we're just going to get it all. And again, this is one of those dishes that I've got to have a sweet tea with it. But if I can't get a sweet tea, I'd take a Dr. Pepper. It'll be just fine. And that's how I'm going to wrap that bad boy up.
Dude, I am over here salivating and questioning my choices as to if I did the procedure wrong. You're doing everything right. Mine is almost going to seem bougie in comparison. Just unbelievable, man. So well done.
Thank you, sir. You gave me a good task, and I think that I kind of shot for I'm getting an A+ or nothing on this.
So for my supper time meal, the big roll out the red carpet style dinner menu, we're going to start things off with something that, again, highfalutin, bougie, and for some people, it's gross and inhumane, but it's my last meal. I don't care. I'm going to start off with foie gras as my appetizer. I've had it a handful of times. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is patéed liver from the ducks. Some people say it is inhumane on how you treat the animals in order to inflate that liver to the point that it is. It is phenomenal. It is somebody that grew up on Braunschweiger at my grandparents' house, saltine and Braunschweiger, and maybe a slice of cheese. This is just the upper crust version of that. A totally different flavor. I'm sure if you've had any type of duck throughout your life, no matter how it's been prepared, it's just got a buttery consistency, and the liver has that exact same feel. And again, it just one of the best appetizers I've ever had at a fancy dine-in. And that's just going to be the way I started off. We are going to get and this is something that is still new to me and still hard for me to wrap my brain around, kind of like you with the salad in your lunch menu. We are going to do charred Brussels sprouts. Dude, you got to have the bacon in there as well, and just give me a whole plate of them. And it's stupid because for the longest time, I thought Brussels sprouts were the devil. Just the devil in green form. And this is, the key has been unlocked. Now, if that's on the menu somewhere, I almost have to get it exclusively. It's stupid. So that will pair well. Then we're going to do a 24-ounce cowboy cut ribeye, medium rare, as if there was any other way to prepare it. You can keep your grill marks. I don't need that shit. Just like your competition style ribs. We don't need that. I just want it cooked perfect, medium rare, and I can put my fork to it and it'll slice through it. That's what I am looking for. I don't need Wagyu. I don't need any of that. I need a perfectly prepared ribeye. And I'm not going to split hairs like Letterkenny did with their salt and pepper and the certain amount of minutes. No. You cook it as long as you want. You season it however you want. I don't need extra butter. I don't need any steak sauce. I need nothing else, just the perfectly prepared steak. And at that point, you know me, I'm wearing a Guinness shirt. I'm Irish-Scottish. I need the most loaded baked potato you've ever seen in your entire life. I need everything on it. I need the potato to be one of the, like, Guinness Book of World Record finds. It looks like a brown watermelon. That's what I want. Cut that fucker in half. Butter, sour cream, chives, the works. That is what I'm going to have on the side. And then, for my drink, I am going to splurge and get one of my all-time favorite beers, the Trappist Ale. And it's the Double, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's one of my favorite beers I've ever had in my entire life. That will be a perfect quencher in between every bite of all these delectable dishes. And that would be my final main course of the evening.
Oh, dude, that gets a chef's kiss from me several times over. Oh, that
again, a little bougie, but still down to earth.
Oh, dude. Yeah. You walk that line very, very well, especially, I mean, I'm over here absolutely rocking a food chub right now, just thinking about that steak, dude, because that's the perfect steak. It really is. Especially if you can cut that thing with a spoon. Oh, you've done it right.
And I'm telling you, I've had really good ribeyes throughout the year. I've had a lot of good New York strips and all the different varieties of steak cuts. Ribeye is up there with the best of them, and that cowboy cut. The only thing that prevents me from getting that when we go out somewhere is it being cost prohibitive. If you could get a good 10-ounce cut instead of that 24, hey, that's still good. It's still real good. But for your last meal, you got to go big or go home.
Right. And that's kind of that. Honestly, is kind of what I thought about it as well. It's like, I'm not walking away from this, obviously, if it's my last meal. So make me not be able to walk away from it at all.
Well, the way I envision it is for your brisket, you're not getting a cut of brisket. You're eating a whole damn thing. So you're getting your money's worth for sure.
Flop that whole side of the cow right in front of me, and I'm just it's gonna be like watching a bunch of kids at a bobbing for apple contest back at the fall festival.
All right, so man. We got one course left. If you got any type of room, or it's the Mr. Creosote from Monty Python, you're gonna pop. But you need that dinner mint. What is your dessert gonna consist of?
All right, so my dessert is going to actually be, there's two different desserts that came to mind. And one of them is, it was a birthday cake that I used to get for a few years. It's a local place here in town that make this. It is a chocolate peanut butter cupcake. Now, the description on their site is it's a chocolate cake with peanut butter cream icing, chopped up peanut butter cups, frosted in more peanut butter buttercream on top with a chocolate ganache drip. And then edged around the bottom is more peanut butter cups. It's a 3-layer cake you can get in either 6, 8, or 10 inches. And let me tell you this, I got the 10-inch cake one year. It's like, 10 inches around. Okay, that's sizable. When you 3-layer that thing, I swear to you, it was like 2 foot tall. And that could feed, I believe there was 7 or 8 of us eating on this, and I don't know that we ate half of that cake. It was ungodly huge, but I'm a chocolate peanut butter guy forever. Reese's peanut butter cups, that is another one of my love languages. If somebody wants to speak it to me, I like a good Reese's peanut butter cup. So this in cake form with all the peanut butter icing and the chocolate ganache, like at the bottom of it, it's just crushed up Reese's peanut butter cups that line the whole bottom of it. And then on top, they had like these dollops of the peanut butter icing that went around, and in each dollop was a whole freaking peanut butter cup.
Oh my God.
So dude, it's the Wilford Brimley special.
I was going to say, I'm going to be walking around with a Lieutenant Dan leg because you're going to have to chop it off when I'm done with it, but absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it.
The chocolate Beatus cupcake. It is so much that. But I also had to think back to tie this all together one last time with my family. My absolute all-time favorite dessert that I ever had was my grandma Georgia's cherry cobbler. Ooh. And my mom's mom. And she used to make this thing, and it was such a perfect consistency. It wasn't super juicy, and like her crust kind of had this dumpling like consistency to it. So it was very soft, and it had that crust, pie crust taste to it that we all expect from a well done pie.
Yeah.
Had that, but it wasn't crunchy. It was soft, and you could just dive into that thing with a spoon and dip out a plateful. And she used a good mixture of sweet and tart cherries.
Nice.
So you got sweet and tart with it. And to this day, my mom still tries to recreate it, has got very close so many times, but it's still just below where grandma's was. And it was kind of the same thing as the chicken and dumpling. She'd be like, I made this for you, and would give me my own little portion of it because she knew it was one of my favorites. And if they could somehow recreate that exactly the way she made it, I know my last meal, I would go out so very happy.
So for my last meal dessert, I did not think about it until you brought that up, but both of my picks are from my grandmother, from my Grandma McGuire, my mom's mom. She would, same deal as you. It was for many, many, many birthdays and many gatherings with the family. There was always on the dessert table a homemade cheesecake. And it was not like Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. It wasn't a New York style cheesecake. It was like the pudding consistency cheesecake. And I tell you, dude, so many kids would do I want this much whipped cream and a little bit of pie, a little bit of cake. No. This was the polar opposite for me. That cheesecake was mine. There were a lot of other dishes, like the clam dip at my grandma's house is always an appetizer. My uncles and aunts and all of the cousins would fight over it. So you'd have to first come, first serve, fisticuffs to get to it. But the cheesecake was always one of those like, I will cut you. I might only be 6, but I will cut you. And so it just that, and I honestly don't even know if I would have the same feeling eating it now in my 40s that I did when I was a little kid. But just that, it would be like what you described. Your mom's tried to recreate the cherry pie, and just there's one little ingredient off. It's not quite it. That's I think what it would be for me. Unless grandma made it, it would be like there's something off. It's just not the same. So that would be choice 1. Choice 2, again, another grandma, but my wife has also done this and has done, I think, just as good, if not better, than my grandma's. And that's because she learned to cook from her grandma. It's the same thing. It's here's the recipe. I don't care what the ingredients are. Well, I know what I need the ingredients, but I don't care what the measurements are. I'm going to do my own thing. And it always turns out excellent. And you mentioned the sweet and the tart cherries. It's kind of the same deal with mine. Strawberry rhubarb pie has always been one of my top desserts. And it's almost to the point now where it's stupid. I would much rather have that than a cake any day of the week. And it's just that thing, like talking about the sweet tea. In the middle of summer when it's hot and blazing, you want something sweet. Chocolate's too heavy unless you got a milkshake or you're digging into the tub ice cream. And if you're doing that, you might as well just let it melt on you while you're eating it. But the strawberry rhubarb pie, if it's fresh out of the oven, you have the biggest dollop of ice cream on it in the world, let it melt, and then you can have your rhubarb pie soup. If it's on the counter, ready to go, you peel the cellophane off the top of it. You don't need to heat it up. You don't need ice cream unless you want it. Just room temperature. Oh my God, dude. Just so good. And it can be as tart or as sweet as you want to make it. I always kind of like it to be like that tart lemonade where it's just enough to pop you, but then you get the sweetness as the aftertaste. And again, I'm drooling now thinking about it, but that would be the end all be all. Here's the mint at the end of the evening. And all right, now you can send me off to the chair.
Yep. Yeah, just get me out because I'm so fat that I'm probably in a coma to begin with. So your job is going to be a whole lot easier at this point.
Feel bad for that mop and bucket man, and later on, you're just going to have to spray it out with a fire hose, I think.
Cleanup might be a little harder than you're anticipating. But, speaking of that strawberry rhubarb pie, I haven't had one of those since I was little, and my great-great-aunt used to make them. And that kind of seems like, to a degree, almost a forgotten dessert in a way. You don't really see it, at least not around here very often. And so you mentioning that definitely brought back another good memory in my mind as well. Those things when they get the mixture just right to where you were saying it's tart enough, but you have that underlying sweet, so you're not kind of sucking your cheeks in after every bite. That is absolutely a perfect pie.
Well, and it's so funny too, because to me, that was one I grew up with. It was always kind of in the rotation of different desserts. And then when we came up to Iowa, you see pie auctions like the Fair Queen for the Dallas County Fair. They always do a dinner at one night of the fair, and then they do a fundraiser where it's a pie auction. So some of these pies will go for $1,500 if they're lucky. But that's never one of them. You'll see a strawberry pie. You'll see the cherry and apple. One of the things that I had never heard of before in my life until we got up here was a sour cream and raisin pie. I don't know. It's an old-timey recipe. Like the people that make it are definitely of an older generation, or it's one that the family has passed it down for year after year. But again, I have never seen this recipe anywhere else, but everybody else up here in Iowa is like, oh yeah, sour cream and raisin pie. It's like, am I on another planet? What the hell's going on?
What was your first reaction to that? Just go, what?
Yeah. Is that all you had in the drawer to make? I'm very confused. Because, you do have cherry pie, strawberry pie, apple pie. Oh, here's another apple pie.
Yeah.
And then this. And it's like, what? You could do just a key lime? Why sour cream and raisin? Okay. Well, and again, from what I've been told, it's very good. And I've had what they call sour cream donuts, where they're cake donuts. And I would assume it's the same type of thing. But again, it's just like well, I'm glad to see it's not just me. It makes your brain short circuit a little bit. It's like, how does that even work?
Right.
What?
I can't wrap my head around it. My only thought is that all these other people making pies got every other ingredient bought out. And that one person was just like, well, guys, I know you wanted a good apple, but this is all I could find. So you're just going to have to eat it, or it's just going to go in the trash.
Well, and then that's the other thing too. The ham balls are the other big specialty up in Iowa. So they're big, giant meatballs, but they're made out of ground ham. Ham balls are the other delicacy that are up here that people go nuts for. But again, it's a regional thing, just like you mentioned the pork steak. Pork steak to me and you growing up, and again, you weren't a St. Louis area kid, me neither. I mean, I was closer in proximity, but really we were that area of Missouri adjacent, but in that area of Missouri, that you're going to a barbecue. Okay, are they doing burgers and brats, or are they doing pork steaks? That was just always the question. Yeah. And depending on where you were going, whose side of the family it was, okay, they're doing pork steaks, they're doing burgers and brats or steak or whatever. And so it was never out of the realm of possibility that that's what was going to happen. And then you come up somewhere else. It's like, you don't know what pork, you don't even know what it is, let alone you're not cooking it. Weird.
Yeah. Do you think you're speaking a whole completely other language? And I can't help it right now. When you said handballs and I just collapsed in my chair, I'm just seeing a pig with meaty clackers walking around. That's the only thing that's in my brain.
we were not in the Rockies. We were not farming for oysters. So.
Oh man. Well, dude, I am glad that you brought this topic to the table because as you mentioned, thanks to our buddy Mills for always wanting to keep us in the loop of snacks and telling us what's good in the snack world out there.
And Ryan Mills, find him on all social media. Look out for him and his girlfriend Nicole's food reviews. Always worth the price of admission. We have tried to do a few of our own food reviews, but we pale in comparison, especially when there are no cat buttholes walking through the camera in ours. So, Mills, thank you so much for that, giving us a little partial inspiration with it. Thank you for Josh from Mythical Kitchen for giving us the full-fledged idea. And again, check out everybody that we've mentioned so far today. Lots of name drops here and there. And also, we want to hear from you. You don't have to do 3 courses. If you want to do one big one, hit us with your last meal. What are you going to do? You're going to the chair. You're going to do your last good night. Your last goodbye to people. What is going to be that decadent meal that it may not mean anything to the rest of us, but this is your choice. This is what you're going to the beyond with. So we want to hear it. We can't wait. And hey, if it's something new, we might even try the recipe on it.
I'm all up for that. Hit us with all of your favorite. It doesn't have to be an entire meal. It can just be one thing.
My God, if I could recreate the Chum's bacon, I would be doing it right now. I'm not even joking you, and I still don't know how they did it. It makes me sad, but I know there will be some that listen from that area, especially my father-in-law, who said that he was listening earlier, and my parents as well. They will all corroborate my story. It was the best bacon you could get anywhere.
Heck yeah, man. That sounds so good. And I'm not an overall, I'm a sausage to bacon fan, but that bacon sounds absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10 would eat that.
You're a sausage to bacon fan because you enjoy the mouthfeel?
So we've talked a lot about food.
It's getting late, I think. I don't know.
But on the real, dude, we've had a great time today wrapping up another awesome main event that you've brought to us. And I think with that, we know that is our last meal. So I say that we go ahead, get that bad boy ready, and we go straight at one another. Boop. And we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again here on Off Topic on Brand. It's Siege, it's Smitty, and be sure to hit us up on all of the social media channels. Watch us on YouTube, listen on where you get all of your podcasts, and we want to hear from each and every one of you. And we hope that more of you are coming on board each week. We love to hear from new people. We love to hear from the people that have been with us since day one. We love all of you. And my brother, I love you, man.
I love you too, man. We will talk to you next time.
See ya.